What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday's episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Peralta. We are live on our YouTube channel and X at Boston versus the Book. Same two handles. We are into a BetCris Arizona Wednesday today, not a Thursday, a Wednesday. We are off tomorrow. We are off on Thursday. Adam Bjorn will be joining us in about 30 minutes or so. We will get his thoughts on everything happening in a massive 4-day stretch of college and pro football. Looking forward to getting his thoughts. Where in the world will he be? I have no idea where he will be. We're on a little earlier than normal today because I have to head on up to Maine for an event tonight that my girlfriend, her son, and my daughter were all going to tonight. So we got to be on a little early, 30 minutes earlier than normal. So if you're like, Matt, why are you on the air so early today? This is why we're on the air early. And we're looking forward to getting into all these games coming up. Now, it's a massive weekend in football, and I don't want to totally oversleep on what's happening from a basketball standpoint, because there are some just massive games happening in college football, in college basketball. And I think there's going to be a lot of things happening for the next couple of weeks in college basketball that, I'm not seeing the college basketball board very well. I missed on 2 bets yesterday. I am efforting to kind of figure out why I'm not doing so great in college basketball betting, but it's because I think the topsy-turvy nature of the top versus the bottom. The bottom stinks. Okay. The bottom in college basketball absolutely stinks. And it comes down to a number that is almost hard to believe, where ranked versus unranked, it's 114-2 straight up. Ranked teams in the AP poll beating unranked teams 114-2. That is an unbelievable number that you have to stop and go, come on. There's no way that's possible, right? There's no way that's happening, or nobody's getting upset. UCLA got upset yesterday. NC State got upset 2 days ago. It was 95-0 at one point. So now we have a UCLA team and an NC State team. They're hanging, they're the two teams that nobody wants to join right now. So I've thrown together like a crazy money line parlay that I'm sure won't hit today. And I'm sure we're going to see a ton of upsets coming up today in college basketball, just the kind of the nature of the way things are going. But we'll watch it today. We'll watch some of the scoreboards as to what's happening as we're playing. Vanderbilt is currently up on Western Kentucky. That is the first leg of my parlay. I have Iowa State over Syracuse. I have Houston over Notre Dame, and it ends with Tennessee over Kansas. If you can believe this, that's a plus 110 parlay. That's a plus 110 parlay. So it went 10-1 yesterday. So 11 games, 10-1. If you bet all of them, yes, UCLA burned you. So the books got lucky. They didn't, one team unranked got the W. So, I'm not taking Texas Tech. No, you can do it all. I mean, the scoreboard, if you want to do a complete crazy, money line parlay, Texas Tech over New Orleans. You can do Kentucky over Tennessee Tech, Louisville over NJIT, NC State over Texas, and Alabama over Maryland. So those are if you're going to go and do, so there are Vandy games going on right now, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games where you have a ranked team up against an unranked team today. Okay. So that's, you can bet them all if you want. Again, 114-2 is 114-2. It's a really crazy number. It's a really crazy thing to look at and go, wow, but that happened. So that's about as much as we're going to get into with college basketball today. I wanted to get it out of the way at the top, kind of give you guys a heads up when we might touch on it later when I'm making some bets. But for the most part, this is going to be a heavy college football and NFL heavy show, including the opening line, which will be my 5 favorite games of the weekend, because there are 5 really big and very cool games that I want to get into. All right, opening lines being brought to you by our friends at Huel. This is the last week for Huel with us. So if you guys want to check this out offer that we have going right now, it is 15% off a minimum purchase of $75 for new customers with Huel by using the code BVB. Again, it's not a protein shake. This is a meal, 40 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, gluten-free and vegan. You get that offer by going to Huel.com/BVB or going to Huel.com and using the promo code BVB to get 15% off your first purchase. New customers spending at least $75 here for that. Now, there's a lot more than 5 games. Okay. There's a lot more than 5 games going on in college, in pro football that you can get into, but these just are my 5 favorite just because there's so much going in and going on with these games. Let's start with number 5 with Texas A&M on the road against Texas. If Texas wins, Georgia gets into the SEC championship game. So this is huge for, obviously, I have a Georgia bet. I have a 3-1 ticket on Georgia to win the SEC. I can't even hedge off of it until Georgia gets there. And then we can bet if it's Alabama, Georgia, then we can bet that. But the only reason why we get Alabama, but Georgia is if we get a win for Texas at home against Texas A&M. And this is going to be just a massive moment. Can Arch Manning knock out Texas A&M from the SEC championship? A&M is in the postseason, but Texas is not in terms of a playoff, you should say. They're in the postseason for a bowl game, but Texas A&M is going to have if they lose to Texas and they don't play for the SEC championship, they're going to drop out of one of the top 4 seeds. So they're going to have to play in the first round, which after an undefeated regular season up to this point, this would be a huge disappointment for the Aggies after what they have done this year. So this is huge. Texas, on the other hand, is not in the postseason. Texas is not in the playoff. I keep on saying calling it the postseason, the playoff. So they got to win this game. Texas is not making the SEC championship game, but Texas can beat this A&M Aggie team, and they will have 2 very big wins on their resume. Oklahoma, even the Vanderbilt win is a pretty big win for Texas. So they'll have Texas Vandy and then Texas A&M on their resume to try to justify their inclusion in the 12-team playoff. So there is so much going on here, and you have a home dog Texas up against A&M. Most people that I've talked to believe that the Aggies are extremely live to win this game. Okay. Extremely live. And if you're a Georgia fan or holding a Georgia ticket like I am, we're all in on Texas. Okay. We want Texas to win this game, get Georgia into the SEC championship game, and let's see what happens. And let's see what happens with this overall situation. Sorry. TV went out. If you're listening on the audio podcast, go, Matt, what happened? The TV went out. So that, to me, I'm so excited to watch this game. I'm so excited to see what happens. I lean Texas. I don't really know how you don't lean Texas in this game, just given what the Longhorns at home have done historically to A&M. They have won this game consistently. This is a rivalry that has heavily favored the Longhorns. And you have a matchup of 2 very good quarterbacks, of 2 good defenses, of wide receiver talent. And this is huge. Big game for Sark. Okay. Big game for Sarkisian and the Longhorns to win this game at home and to knock out the Aggies. Last year, A&M won this game. Sorry, Texas won this game last year. Here we go then there. Right now, it's I believe right now it's Bama and A&M as of right now, but that's, Alabama's next for the SEC championship. Because my number 4 game that I'm looking forward to seeing is Alabama-Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I mean, you want to talk about, this is I've seen this game before. I've seen this story before where Alabama has everything to lose and Auburn has nothing to lose, and Auburn's at home and they throw out every stop to go and try to beat Alabama. Here's my one problem with this Auburn game and why I don't think it goes by traditional Iron Bowl single, bet the home dog type situation. I think when you fire your head coach, and I fully understand about the overall intensity of this game. I've been to 5 of them. I covered it for 5 straight years. I know about Alabama and Auburn. I know about the history. I mean, I've told the story before, but I have received death threats from somebody who got my home number when I picked against Alabama and picked Auburn to win the Iron Bowl. Okay, so I have seen this rivalry. I've seen the dark side of this rivalry. I do understand how passionate these two teams, how passionate these fan bases are for these two teams. However, under Kalen DeBoer doesn't lose this game. Kellen DeBoer loses the game that you don't see coming. They lose the game that Alabama is supposed to win, and it's not a full focused team. Everyone in Tuscaloosa will be 100% focused on this game because they have to win this game to get into the SEC championship. And they will have Georgia in their sights. And if Bama wins the SEC, Alabama's in the college football playoff, obviously. If they win this game, Alabama will have a pretty strong case because they won't play in the SEC championship game, most likely, depending on how it all shakes out. But you have Alabama having a chance to get in and then play for a championship. And it could be Alabama, Texas A&M. There's some other things at work, but it probably will. If A&M wins and Alabama wins, they're both getting in. If Alabama loses, there's a little bit, I want to see what happens if Bama loses. If Bama loses in the SEC championship to Auburn, which again, I don't think they're going to, but Alabama's 6-1. So they would go to 6-2. Ole Miss would beat Mississippi State. Ole Miss would get in. It would be Ole Miss against A&M or Ole Miss against Georgia because Georgia has 7 wins. Georgia is 7-1. So if you have a 7-1 Alabama, a 7-1 Georgia, and a 7-1 Texas A&M, Georgia, Bama get in thanks to the tiebreakers. If Georgia at 7-1 is tied with A&M at 7-1, and Ole Miss and Alabama both lose, they're 6-2. It's A&M against Georgia. That's hard to see because that would be 2 big upsets. But 2 teams on the road, Ole Miss is at Mississippi State and Alabama is at Auburn. So you'd have that situation going on. So there are tiebreakers at work. But if A&M loses, Georgia's in. Alabama wins. Alabama is in. They have a tiebreaker over Ole Miss, so they get in. So this is fun. I mean, this is a lot of things. But if Auburn wins, Auburn knocks out Alabama. This is everything that they want. This is everything that Auburn, this is their Super Bowl. This is their, this is the epitome of everything that goes into the season for Alabama and Auburn, mostly for Auburn. Bama's going to keep playing. Auburn's not. They'll have a new coach next year. Dead cat bounce? I don't think so. They already had their dead cat bounce. They fired their head coach a couple of weeks ago. So I don't think you're going to get a dead cat bounce immediately out of this. But I do think there is something to be said for Alabama's focus. And I do think Alabama's going to be extremely focused on this game. And I do think Alabama wins this game. Under other circumstances, if Hugh Freeze had not been fired by Auburn, I probably would be betting Auburn and say Alabama's going to play tight. Alabama's got so much more to play for. Auburn's going to play loose. They're at home. It's on the plains. Really hard place to play at Jordan-Hare Stadium. But I like Alabama. I like the Tide here to win and cover. To the NFL, number 3 for my 5 favorite games that we're going to see coming up here for the long weekend or the long 4-day stretch before we're back on Monday. Bears and the Eagles play on Black Friday, just the 3rd time in NFL history. We have a game on Black Friday. I want to see whether or not the Bears are for real because I'm calling them frauds. I don't buy Chicago. Okay. I don't. Let's see the Bears go to Philadelphia and win on the road in a big game in a standalone spot where everyone's going to be watching, with the Eagles coming off of a loss in which they blew a 21-0 lead to the Cowboys in prime time. Now they're in prime time, short-ish week, not like a Thursday, but it's a Friday game. And the Eagles having a chance to right the ship against a Bears team that I don't think is nearly as good as they are. This is a huge put up or shut up game for me. Are you at 8-3 Chicago? Are you for real? Can you go? And this was the same thing like with the Patriots going to Buffalo, right? I was like, okay, let's find out. Are the Patriots for real? Can the Patriots go to Buffalo and beat the Bills? They did. Same question here for the Bears. Can you go to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles? If that happens, that's a huge statement for this Bears team. Young quarterback, first-time head coach in Ben Johnson. What does this defense look like against a really angry and frustrated Eagles offense that was shut out in the second half by the Cowboys. How did the Cowboys win that game 24-21? They won that game because they were able to shut out and shut down the Eagles for a long period of time. So now, what happens? What do we see out of the Bears and what do we see out of the Eagles defense? They have two starting safeties who are banged up for this game. Watch the injury report for this game because the Eagles are down two safeties. And mind you, I want the Bears to win. Okay? I want the Bears to win because I want the Cowboys to catch the Eagles to win the division. This is a game. If you look at the schedule, this is one of those like teeter-totter games for the Eagles. Things can go either way for the Eagles here. If they lose this game and they start to slide, and the Cowboys, more of them in a second, they start playing well and they start beating teams like the Eagles, maybe the Chiefs. Now we start to see some pretty interesting energy for the NFC East. And maybe that ticket, that 7-1 ticket for the Cowboys to win the division is not dead for me with the NFC East. Number 2, Packers-Lions. Okay, Green Bay. I've been reading about this Packer mentality for a bit. So you have a 7-3-1 Packers team and a 7-4 Lions team, and the Lions did not play well last week. Let's just call a spade a spade. They haven't played well offensively for a while. The Packers equally have not played well offensively. The Packers have lost home games to the Panthers recently. Neither one of these teams can afford to lose. We will find out, obviously, about the Bears the next day. But this is Thursday. This game gets played before the Eagles and the Bears go to battle on Black Friday. This is the first game on Thanksgiving. Everyone is assuming this is going to be a high-scoring affair, but the number's being bet down. And I think rightfully so, being bet down. I don't like either offense at the moment. I don't like either quarterback at the moment, the way things have gone. The running game for the Lions needs to be the difference, but the Packers' run defense is really stout. I don't think you want to allow Micah Parsons loose like crazy on Jared Goff and allow him to disrupt and dismantle your offense and maybe, decapitate your quarterback. So there's a lot going into this game. This is a fascinating appetizer on Thanksgiving to start it all going on. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at moneyline parlays with this, and they're going to be giving kind of a coin flip here. Remember, teams who are at home, I'm going to give you the stat so I make sure I get the stat completely correct, because I believe it's 52 and 50-2 in terms of favorites on Thanksgiving. Let's see. Favorites on Thanksgiving straight up since 2004, favorites on Thanksgiving are 51-9 straight up and 40-20 against the spread. In the wild card era since 1990, favorites of 7 points or more on Thanksgiving are 30-5 straight up. That's the Ravens. If you're looking for a Ravens angle, that'd fit into the Ravens. My number one game, the game I am the most curious about, the game that I am really looking forward to seeing, Packers and the Lions, is going to be awesome. Number 2 game is Packers-Lions. Number 1 for me is going to be Cowboys-Chiefs. This game is so interesting for so many reasons. For the starters, the Cowboys are home dogs. They're home dogs on Thanksgiving. So that obviously is the number one, okay, interesting situation to have the Cowboys being a home dog. The Chiefs are the lone road favorite on Thanksgiving. Road favorites are 25-1 straight up and 20-6 against the number since 2004. The only loss came back in 2009 when the Giants fell to the Broncos at home 26-6. It's been a bit, okay? The Lions and Cowboys haven't combined to go 2-0 ATS since 2001, and they haven't both gone 2-0 straight up and 2-0 against the number since 1994 on Thanksgiving. So if you like the Packers, you might want to bet the Cowboys. If you like the Cowboys, you might want to bet the Lions. Okay? So coming up on that. Here's the thing, and people are already saying, how did the different games not make it? I'll get to more here in a second. Chiefs Cowboys at plus 3.5. I like the Cowboys at plus 3.5. I really do. I think the Cowboys are going to be a difficult team and everything. This is going to be huge numbers at the window. This is going to be the most heavily bet game of the weekend, in my opinion. Can't wait to talk to Adam Bjorn here in about 10 minutes about that, because I do think it's going to be that big. Chiefs Cowboys is going to be absolutely gigantic. Whitrock says that home teams will go 3-0 on Thanksgiving. Lions, Cowboys, Ravens. The Cowboys are the question, right? Ravens are winning. I'm not buying the Joe Burrow thing coming back. It's his first game back. The Ravens they need it. Give me the Ravens. I like the Ravens. But Cowboys at plus 3.5. I want the hook. I don't want 3. I want 3.5 on the Cowboys. But I've seen people who like the Chiefs minus 3 and people I respect who like the Chiefs minus 3. But to me, I'm taking the boys here. Now, the game didn't make the top 5. Why am I not interested in Michigan and Ohio State? I don't like Michigan's chances, guys. The reason why I'm not, I told you going into the year, I'm not sure there was anybody higher on Michigan than me. I bet Michigan to run the table. I bet Michigan to win the Big Ten. I bet Michigan to have a really good season. And while this is not a bad year for Michigan, they're 7-1 in conference. They're 9-2 overall. Indiana and Ohio State are 8-0. Indiana's playing Purdue. Indiana's going to the Big Ten title game. The other question is going to be Ohio State. And if they were to lose to Michigan, 8-1, the Ducks will play against Washington coming up, and that should be a game that they win. They'll be big favorites. They should beat Washington. So you have to assume the 8-1 Ducks, 8-1 Michigan, 8-1 Ohio State. I don't even know what the overall tiebreaker is to who gets into the Big Ten title game. Okay. I just don't think Ohio State's going to lose the game. I just don't think Ohio State's going to lose the game. And look, you Michigan guys, throw around all the numbers you want. Okay. For as long as you can. It's been 2,188 days since Ohio State beat Michigan. And I think it's going to be a phenomenal football game to watch. I just don't like this Michigan defense. I didn't like the offense going in because you have an inexperienced quarterback. And so because of that, I thought that you're going to see the defense be the story for Michigan, but that has not been the case. I mean, that just hasn't been the case. And I've been really concerned as a guy who's backed Michigan a lot, watching them going, okay, are they capable of beating Ohio State when Ohio State's going to give you literally everything that they've got? They're really, I mean, you're going to see a complete emptying of the tank. And look, JPC, I'll give it to you. Michigan's at home. A home Michigan up against Ohio State. I mean, this is the state Super Bowl. This is the biggest game of the year every year. I just don't have high hopes for Michigan here. I really don't. And I hope I'm wrong, but the betting numbers tell me I'm not. I mean, the betting number, this opened up at 11.5. Okay. It opened up at 11.5 for a road favorite. Now it's been bet down to 9.5, but I just have a hard time going and saying, yes, this is going to be a game in which I think Ohio State is in jeopardy of losing. I don't think Ohio State loses. Okay. I don't think Ohio State loses. If I just froze, by the way, now we know what it is, right? We know that it's not my internet, and we know that it's not Amanda's internet. We now know that the freezing is coming from the operator. This is a StreamYard problem. This is not a me problem. Or an internet problem. This is a StreamYard problem. So I apologize if we just froze, but that at least we're kind of figuring this out now as to what exactly is the problem and the issue. However, Ryan Day is going to Ryan Day. I don't think you guys can hang your hat on that. I don't think you can say, okay, Ryan Day can't win this game, and so Michigan is going to win this game. Even covering would be somewhat surprising to me. So, like, you're talking about why I didn't put it on my top 5. I mean, that's why it's not on my top 5. Ohio State coming for vengeance. As a big blue fan, I'm just hoping for Michigan to keep it close. Maybe. Okay, maybe. That's possible. I just look at it. and I'm trying to find some interest in that game. I'm not a Michigan fan. I'm not an Ohio State fan. So, yeah, if Ohio State loses, Ryan Day could get fired, potentially. I don't think so, but potentially. I mean, he won the national championship last year. We're firing him. I get it. He's got to win the Michigan game. I've seen this story before. I just, why am I not interested? I think Ohio State kills them. And that's probably good news for you guys who are Michigan fans that I feel that way. But I'm not betting it. My Michigan to win the Big Ten ticket is dead. My Michigan to go undefeated ticket has been dead for weeks. Again, I'm not sure anybody was higher on Michigan than me going into the regular season. And yet I am standing here telling you I'm not very high on Michigan's chances of winning another fourth consecutive game against Ohio State. Even at home, I don't feel great about the opportunity. Iowa, Nebraska doesn't make the cut for top 5 favorite. It did make the cut for the bets, though. I am going to get involved with that game, betting wise, but I'm not going to get involved with it in terms of my 5 favorite games. Where in the world is our friend? Let's go find out. Where is Adam Bjorn? On a BetCris Arizona Wednesday, he is the one and only Adam Bjorn. I don't know where you are, my friend. Where are you? Are you in the back of a truck? Where are you?
Now I'm in the front of a truck. I'm driving a cargo van around Miami. I'm in a Walmart car park, and I'm in a Miami flight path zone because I got planes going over me like every 45 seconds to 60 seconds making noise. So if we hear any loud noises coming over, it's just a jumbo jet.
Just jumbo jet, not that big of a deal. Is there a reason for Miami, or is it just there for leisure?
No, there is a reason. So obviously, those that know that Jamaica got absolutely their ass kicked probably a month ago now.
Yeah.
So I've come here for a few days, got the cargo van, filling up barrels, hitting the Walmarts, hitting the liquidation places. I bought 800 tarps yesterday to send down.
Whoa.
So yeah, I'm heading to the freight forwarder after this last load. And then, in 3 to 4 weeks, it'll be down there and I'll have to get to Jamaica and start distributing this load of bounty I have.
Man, that is such an unbelievable gesture on your part. Look, Amanda and I went to Jamaica in April, and we know that the place where we stayed at the Grand Jewel in Montego Bay. It's gone. It's gone.
Is.
Like there's nothing, like we've seen the pictures that they have put up. Like I mean, we can't believe it. Like we were there in April at this 5-star gorgeous resort and it's gone. Like there's just nothing left. Are we not paying enough attention as to what's going on down there? Because it feels like there's some real human disasters happening that nobody is talking about.
Yeah, and I think it's because generally it's the poorest part of the island. Not so much Montego Bay, it's their second city. Kingston really didn't get a scratch, but all the west, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, just almost wiped off the map. Like there's literally towns that just don't exist. There's literally areas that there's no roads to anymore, so they can't get in there. They're dropping stuff with helicopters and whatnot. For 20 plus years that I've lived down there, we've had some close ones. We've had some that have, been a lot of fun watching the zinc and everything fly off roofs and that. But this was just catastrophic. This was the ones that we sort of sit back and go, well, Haiti got that. Dominican Republic got that. Well, no, this time Jamaica got it fair and square in the middle. And it's
Adam froze, right?
I froze. I'm still here.
Adam. He may have gotten a text message. That may have been somebody text messaging Adam. Oh, let's see. There we go. We're back.
You're back.
How are you?
Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
All right.
Yeah, we're back.
I mean, they just got it good and proper. And again, it's, probably the poorer part of the island got hit. The first week or two, got the information about our house. We lost, a bit of the roof. We got flooded out, a few things like that. It's going to be some damage. But my wife went down recently and said all the houses around us all lost their roof, have tarps over it, all kind of things. So I've gone into a few rabbit holes at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning watching endless amounts of videos. So now I'm actually going to fly down there tomorrow for a couple of days just to check in on things and see how it is. And I think that's when a real reality will hit, is once you get amongst it.
Is there anything that the audience can do to help you? The guys in the chat are all asking, is there anything that they can do to help you and help the people that are around you?
Yeah, so that's what a few people have been asking that. So I'm trying to work on something, putting it together over the next few days, and then I'll send it over to you once it's up, and then we can, next week touch base again as well. But yeah, that's been even the office, you've been on meetings and this is the background and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And then I show them sort of the barrels and all the, 200, or I think there's 500 boxes of mac and cheese in the back and stuff like that. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just, this one hit close to home.
You can imagine. Well, bless you for doing the work of that. People need it desperately. And yeah, people are saying that they forgot that Jamaica got hit as hard as they got hit. And I think that's true. I think for a lot of us here in the continental United States, I know Miami and Florida and the Keys and those parts all have remembered. I've seen people talk about it like, hey, you guys who are in the North, I know it's November, it's Thanksgiving and whatnot, but the Caribbean got hit really hard and Jamaica got hit extremely hard by a Category 5 storm, the hardest storm ever to hit the island. So that's amazing. So, all right, so we'll watch it. I'll pass it along information once we get it. Okay, so we have a huge weekend of college football to get into, huge weekend of NFL football to get into. Let's start with the games on Thanksgiving, which will clearly be the biggest of numbers here. What are you making of Packers Lions here to start this, 3-game day of football betting? What are you looking for an action perspective? Because favorites in home teams in Thanksgiving have done quite well. Anybody taking the Packers?
So this is really well balanced, really big volume, really well balanced. Good two-way action at 2.5, 3, and 3.5. 90% of the master action is on Green Bay, but it's at 3.5, and they bought it up at like -40. And then on the other way, there's some 2.5 was where the buyback. But yeah, it's well balanced game. As we'll get into the others, we'll see a bit of a pattern here.
So okay, everyone liking one side. So Chiefs Cowboys, it's 3 or 3.5. Where are you on this one? And is this game going to be the biggest handle of the day?
So this and the Green Bay one are pretty neck and neck handle wise right now, and this is well balanced as well, and really good volume, as I said on the previous one. 90% of the master action is on Dallas, +4, +3.5, the +4 at -20. But yeah, this one as well, the overall money well balanced. The masters are heading on the plus side.
Do you guys see, and I think most books do, so I'm assuming you do, but the 3-leg money line parlays that come through on Thanksgiving, is that a popular thing, or are you guys not seeing that because you're dealing with more professional type or educated type and they're not playing those 3-leg money line parlays?
No, you still get them. You still get it's like a Sunday afternoon, when there's 3 afternoon games, they just wrap them all up. It's looking exactly the same thing. Detroit, KC, Baltimore, just feels like an easy winner. So, it's just, they do get into it.
It's a crazy stat, but Detroit and the Cowboys haven't gone 2-0 straight up and 2-0 against the spread in the same year since 1994. It's been a long time. So it's sort of like you got to pick and choose which one's going to win, which one's going to cover, because it's not going to be Lions winning cover and Cowboys winning cover. That's not what we're probably not going to see that on the same day.
No, but I mean, Detroit didn't really hold up their end of the bargain of that for a very, very long time. I remember some years ago, because when I moved over this side, Thanksgiving was all new. Detroit Thursday was all new. And I like an underdog. And I think I worked out they lost and not covered, 12 of 15 years that I first watched them, or, didn't win they won 1 in 15 or something like that. So, right. And then Dallas has been pretty rough, the recent years as well. So, I can't remember Detroit back in the 90s. I definitely remember Dallas being a, strong team. But yeah, those have been on different paths, I guess, during those last, that's 30 years.
And then we're going into a Ravens game with Joe Burrow coming back. This number has been leaking down 7.5, 7, 6.5 at some books. Now, what are you guys at for Ravens Bengals?
Yeah, so this one, again, not the volume of the first two, really well balanced, master chart. But when I dug into it, yeah, the plus 7.5 is where they're on Cincinnati, the minus 6.5 with a little bit at -7 on Baltimore. But this is good two-way action, this one. This is like, there's some good bookmaking on this, as long as it doesn't land on 7.
Going back and forth. What do you make of this? And what are you taking? Are you going to use the Ravens here for your one survivor team you got left? Is it you guys have? I know you were saving Baltimore for this game, or were you saving Philadelphia?
Yeah, a sad story last weekend. I got a little too cute, thinking I knew.
I would have told you the Raiders. I would have told you not to take the Raiders. Can't take the Raiders.
Yeah, a little too cute. I got on that one. Just thought first time QB, my son was all over him. I was like, no, come on, Raiders can get this. Looked at the last 4 games for both of them, and yeah, a little too cute. The one I did get through was Baltimore. So I burnt that one. I have one choice this week. I am on Philly. I've called it already. I'll be putting in Philly. I've looked at the chart on Philly, and it is a chart that I would not pick a survivor team on to this date, because 70% of the money's on Philly, 80% of the master money at 6.5. There's money line action where the masters have bet Chicago more so.
Oh,
but I'm on Philly. I've called it. It's time. So I don't mind going out on Philly. Philly get beat at home. Okay.
I think Philly's the easy choice. I think of all the 4 games that you have to pick from, that you must make a selection in Circa Survivor, I think Philly is the obvious. I mean, if you go down, you go down. But I think, the rest of the games, I think, are coin flips and really could be a difficult sweat. Even the Ravens game, I don't think it's nearly as easy as people think it's going to be with Burrow coming back. I think it's difficult. So.
Yeah, and they were talking about that last week with Burrows coming back, and I was like, first game back, he's been off a while. Baltimore, they did look a little rough last week in the beginning. But yeah, if I had to have still had the 2, I would have, one Baltimore, one Philly. And that going into last weekend, I was thinking, all right, use this one in Baltimore, use this one, use Baltimore next week, split them out again next week. Just got too tactical. It's easy now. I have one. I just have to pick one each week, and I have to pick 8 winners in the next 6 weeks. So that's the goal.
Okay. Have you used up all of the easy choices? Are you going to have to go and get exotic? Like you're taking the Panthers for one day coming in a couple of weeks to get to go that crazy?
No. So and in hindsight, I looked at it, and the Raiders were probably one of those 12 teams that you didn't have to use for this year. And looking back on it, it was like, yeah, maybe I should have dug a little deeper and really worked out which 12 I shouldn't use. Right. So the Panthers I will not be using, Titans I will not be using. I still have some decent teams left, but it really should. I really should be just taking my $1,000, betting an 8-game money line parlay over the next 8 weeks, and it's probably going to return just as much as what the survivor might, depending on how many end up there at the end.
That's wow. That's not actually crazy to do that. Wow. All right. Yeah. That's probably the odds probably would be similar, just to roll it over and roll it over. What do you make of the handle on Black Friday? Like, are we going to see a huge amount of betting? It's the only NFL game on Friday. There's a bunch of college football games that we'll get to in a second on Friday, but how much action would you expect to see on on Philly and Chicago?
I think there'll be a lot. These single games really stand out. This one as well, I think there's a lot of people just expecting Chicago to fall over at some time. And Philly's been looking a little rough. I mean, giving up that lead they did last week. That's the other reason. Hopefully they, got to kick up the arse and really put in this week and get through and get back on track. But I suspect this will be a really good volume. And then again on the live, just perfect equinox of landing on the Friday. People, depending how they performed Thursday, they'll either won a lot and feel invincible, or down and want to get out or get out. It's perfect game, I think, on the Friday.
So then we go to the weekend, to Sunday for the NFL. We'll circle back to college in a second, but the Texans and the Colts, it's an AFC South game, not always the most popular division to watch, but because it's a limited number of games on Sunday due to 4 games being played before, I think this is a really good game on the slate, maybe the best game on the slate, just given the impact this game could have. What are you seeing out of this? And anyone taking the dog Texans against the Colts?
Yeah, because it's a medium volume game, but it's well balanced and there's no master action at this point in time. So this one looks like the numbers right. People are betting both sides, and good two-way action.
And then Bills Steelers. This is a game as a Patriot fan. If the Steelers win this game and Buffalo falls to 7-5 and the Patriots beat the Giants on Monday Night Football, the Pats go into the bye week with a 3.5 game lead up against the Bills. And it's pretty much over in the AFC East, which is ridiculous to think about this early into the season that we could have the Patriots winning the division. I feel like people are going to take the Mike Tomlin home dog angle and run with it. Are they betting Pittsburgh?
So this one's low volume. There's not a lot of action on it. It is balanced, though. There's two-way action. And the only master action was a $2,000 bet on Pittsburgh +2, +75 cents. That was it on the master chart. But yeah, low volume on this game. Nothing. No one's really bought into it yet.
Yeah, I think Sunday's like in a month. Like everyone's looking at Thursday and Friday. Sunday is like goodbye. Like Sunday's way too far away. All right, to college we go, and there are some massive games in college football. Let's start with Texas A&M and Texas here. 2.5 or 3. If Texas wins, they keep A&M out of the SEC championship game. If A&M wins, they get into the SEC championship game. Home dog Texas. What are people betting?
So there was a large bet at +3, but they paid for it. They laid a number on it. And then otherwise, it's pretty low volume. There was a chunk of money on A&M at +1 and 1.5. But yeah, it's really low volume on that one so far.
I can't believe that really on A. So, okay, if that's low volume, is it low volume on the Iron Bowl too with Alabama and Auburn?
No, that one's actually pretty good volume. Alabama, that's seen at -5.5. There's a lot at +6.5. 70% of the money is on Auburn, and a lot of that is at +6.5. On the Masters, 95% of the money's on Auburn, and it's all at 6.5. So right now, it's looking like we're going to need Alabama in that game.
Wow. I mean, that's a good place to be. If you guys are walking into the Iron Bowl with needing Alabama, and Bama needs that game desperately. That's again, I like Alabama in that spot. I think in other years, I covered the Iron Bowl for 5 straight years. I was down there covering that conference and those two teams. And so I would say any other year, I would say Auburn's the side, take the points and run with it. But this is a different type of year with Alabama and the losses they've suffered already. And Kellen DeBoer needs this win desperately against Auburn. What other games on Friday and Saturday are you seeing good action? Like, is Iowa, Nebraska getting good action, or Ole Miss and Mississippi State getting good action? What are the big bet games for college on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, both those games. Iowa's like 80% of the money over Nebraska. The master chart's balanced. The +6s and -6s where that's at. And Ole Miss, Mississippi State again. Good volume, well balanced. 7.5 both ways. I mean, it was kind of the pattern as I'm going through these charts. I'm like, God, there's not many games to get excited about that we're going to be sweating yet. So, I like sweats. I like big volume on one side and less on the other so I can get involved. But right now it's just, feeling like a very bookmaker weekend where you take your VIG and, get out of it.
What about Ohio State, Michigan? You seeing big action on that game?
There wasn't as much because I went through the chart thinking, let me find a big game. That one, they were leaning to Ohio State. It was starting to build up, but it was still sort of medium volume for those games on the weekend.
Man, that is really interesting. Is it because everyone's looking at Thursday with the NFL?
I think there's so many games. There looks like there's some good even college basketball games Thursday. Right. Just looking at the charts, there was volume. It just seems as you said, Sunday's feels like a month away. Let's just get through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And go from there.
Interesting. All right. So sitting here right now, I know it's a month away, but you're taking the Eagles. I think you're good. You're going to get through. You got to take another team on Sunday to go in with Survivor. Do you have a feel?
I did look at the schedule and I did have Chargers planned, but you know how that goes when one team knocks you out one week, don't go against them the next. So I was like, damn, what am I going to do now? So Sunday, let me get through Friday, and then I'll work out Sunday.
Amen. Amen. All right. So for Thursday, for tomorrow, the needs you're going to have, are you going to need all the dogs for tomorrow? Is that fair?
Well, right now, again, it's fairly well balanced. The Masters are on the dogs in general. But I suspect, getting at least one dog to win outright, and it'd be nice if it's Cincinnati just to really chop up that survivor bunch.
Yeah.
It kills a lot of those parlays and things like that. And that would kill teasers as well.
There are 6 entries left in the Grandissimo $100,000 survivor entry. It looks like 3 of them are going to be on the Ravens. So that thing would get cut in half if the Bengals were to beat the Ravens. So that would be even more. Yes, it would be amazing in the main Circa Survivor, but the Grandissimo contest would also be chopped in half if the Ravens, because they've all been holding on to that Ravens ticket all the way to the end for this play on Thursday. So, I mean, if you want to be the ultimate contrarian, take Bengals money line and see what happens on that. Adam, thank you for what you're doing for Jamaica. It's absolutely tremendous. Travel safe. We'll talk to you next week. Let's see what happens. And let's get you through with 2 survivor picks into the weekend so we can keep on talking about it. All right.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Matt.
Adam Bjorn, live from Miami on Where in the World is Adam Bjorn? Well, he was in Miami today here for us on the on BVB. Great to get him on the program. That was a lot of fun to talk to him about that. So that's really interesting. A lot of two-way action on Thursday, a lot of numbers coming in for Thursday. I think money line parlay, 3-leg money line parlay. I think everyone is going to. Dave used to have a really funny line where Dave would talk about the fact that, he would pre-populate the tickets on Thanksgiving. He would just go favorite. So he would have a Lions, Chiefs, and Ravens ticket, and he would just start handing them out. Like people would just come up and hand it out. Come back. He didn't actually do that, but that's essentially what they did all day, was just that same money line parlay. And so who is going to bust that up? Who is going to break that up? Because it is sort of going against and counterintuitive to what you normally see on Thanksgiving, because normally the Cowboys get a ton of action, right? I am going contrarian. I'm going off the beaten path for just the picks this week. All right, Just the Picks being brought to you by Betting Pros' Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. You guys can go and download the Betting Pros app for the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet, or go check it out at bettingpros.com/props. I'm going with the ultimate contrarian play. I'm going under with Packers and the Lions. I know everyone's going to say it's the Lions. It's Thanksgiving. All they do is score. No one plays defense. Nobody on Thanksgiving wants to see a boring football game. So why are they betting the under? Why are the pros betting the under? Why is this down to 48 at certain books? I don't like either offense. I don't like the Lions right now with what they're doing offensively. I don't like them up against this pass rush for the Packers, and I don't like the Packers offense up against a Lions team that I think is going to pin their ears back and get after Jordan Love. Yes, this might be a horrible bet. This might be an absolute dead on arrival bet, but I'm taking the under. I just think we're seeing a lower scoring game than what we have in the past. This feels like a 24-20 type football game for me. I don't think we're going to see a game into the 30s. I think it's just, I know, to steal the phrase from Andrew Erickson, my compatriot at Betting Pros, he calls Ford Field the Coors Field of the NFL. You should never bet the under. I'm going to bet the under. I'm going to go under. I'm taking the Cowboys plus 3.5. I will be teasing this game 100%. I will be teasing the Cowboys. I will be giving them 9. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. But if the Chiefs do win, I don't think they win it more than 7. So I think we get a 9.5 number here with the Cowboys. So I think you have to be teasing this game coming up for Thanksgiving. But I think this defense is for real for the Cowboys. I think the George Pickens, and there is one big question about George Pickens. He didn't practice yesterday for a knee. Okay. So if he can't play Thursday, or if he is, limited by a knee injury, throw it all out. Okay. Like, did this bet? No, I will not be making this play if George Pickens. So definitely check the injury report right now for George Pickens. But for George Pickens, if he plays and plays up to his ability, he's a full go. I like him. I like the offense. I like Dak. I like the Cowboys at home. I do. I like the Cowboys at home on this. Oh, JPC, I love this play. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. And I love that teaser. 7-point teaser, Green Bay plus 10, Dallas plus 10, and Baltimore money line. What's the price on that, JPC? And thank you for the 10 spot. I appreciate you for the super chat. But what's the price on that? Let me guess. 120 minus 120 minus 110 on that. You can't get plus money on that, can you? You can get plus money on that. That would be plus one. Chef Benny says plus 140. I love 7-point teasers, by the way. I don't give them out because they're like, I know people are going to hammer me for doing it, but I've been playing 7-point teasers all year. It's plus 113. You get plus money on that. That's brilliant. Oh man, there's your action. Take $100 and do that. There you go. There's your action. Do that. That's tremendous. MGM's got that, by the way, at plus 113. 7-point teaser at plus 113. You know, that's great. I love that. Lights Out said he would rather cheese. No, you can't do that. You're crossing zero. I don't cross zero. Okay. No way. Benny's got it at plus 120. Even better. Wow. I like it a lot. I don't like teasing the Chiefs up. I don't like that. From 3 to 6 to plus 3, crossing zero. I don't like that. It does get you to plus 3, which isn't horrible. I get your point, but I don't like doing that. I don't like taking favorites and making them dogs. You can also alt line. Yep, good point. You can alt line them if you need to. You have to alt line it. Don't use their teaser builder. Okay, to get that. Good point. Okay. My 3-team 6-point teaser is plus 145. What's yours, Benny? Put yours back up, Chef Benny. I lost it in the chat. Put your 3-teamer back up so I can see what that is for tomorrow. You're doing a 6-point? Could see KC winning outright more so than Dallas. Of course. Yeah. They're favored to do so. Yeah. It's Mahomes backed against the wall. They just did it once, right? They survived the Colts test. So they're 6-5. They win this game. They're 7-5, and they'll be sitting pretty for a wild card berth, right? They lose this game. They go to 6-6. And at 6-6, now their playoff lives are again back on the chopping block, and there's going to be a lot of worry. Okay, Green Bay plus 8.5, Dallas plus 9, Baltimore minus 1. Not bad. The only thing would be I would prefer 10 for Dallas. I like that 1 point for Dallas. So I probably would give up the 30 cents or the 25 cents to get that extra point at plus 10 because games don't normally fall 9, right? They don't normally fall 9. So that's my worry there. I'd rather see Green Bay plus 9.5, Dallas plus 10, and Baltimore money line at plus 120 if you can find that. So, you can do that. Add the Eagles to bring it down, Ish says. Ooh. See, I don't know about you guys. I'm not always in love with betting multiple days. Like a bet ticket that goes over. Like I like to wrap my days up individually. That's because of the daily juice. So I like to have my days wrap up inside the same 24-hour window. But if you want to carry something over to Friday, that's not a horrible play either. You can add the Eagles and somebody run the number on that. If you do a 7-point teaser, 4-leg 7-point teaser with Green Bay plus 10, Dallas plus 10, Baltimore money line, and then Eagles money line, run that and then see which one beats you. But that's got to be. I mean, if you're doing a 7-point teaser at plus 120, you add the Ravens. The Eagles in that on Friday. That's got to be somewhere in the plus 150 range, right? It's got to be somewhere in that. If it's 120, you're adding another team, another leg. It's got to be somewhere to plus 150. So there's your 4-leg money line teaser. It's plus 190. Holy Christmas! But it's plus 9.5 for Green Bay. 7-point teaser plus 9.5. So your book has Green Bay 2.5. Wow. Okay. Money coming in on the Packers there, obviously. If you get to Friday, you could hedge. That's true. You could do that. That's very true. Very true. Somebody give me an update on Vanderbilt, by the way. I as we roll through this, somebody give me an update on Vandy, who's playing right now, because I'm curious on that. I am going to lay the 6.5 with the Ravens. I don't care about Joe Burrow coming back. That offensive line stinks. The offensive line is not good. I don't like the Bengals with Jamar Chase. I think the Ravens, this is a get right spot for the Ravens for me. Okay. I think the Ravens win. I think the Ravens cover coming up. I'm not buying the Joe Burrow return as being a big deal. I think the Ravens win the game. Here we go. I like the Eagles against the Bears. Like I mentioned, I'm taking the Eagles here to get a W, to cover against Chicago. I'm not buying Chicago. I think Chicago is, I hate the word fraud. I don't think they're a fraud. I just don't think they're nearly as good as their record indicates. And I think the Eagles, after the loss to the Cowboys, are really ticked off. To college, I go. Let's talk A&M against Texas. I like the Longhorns. I'm taking the 3. Home dog Longhorns. Pedigree matters in games like this. History matters in games like this. And Texas has dominated this rivalry over the last 2 decades. They've dominated. I think Texas comes in with a win, +3 on Texas. Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I'm laying the 6. As I said to Adam, I don't necessarily agree with the idea that we're sitting here talking about Auburn ending Bama's season or even covering this number, because Kellen DeBoer, these are the games his teams focus on. These are the games where his team comes and plays up to their ability. It's the games in which nobody sees them. It's the game in which nobody expects them. That's where I am. Okay, thank you. It's 47-40 Vandy. Okay, good. I just need money line. I don't even need to cover. I think the line was like 13.5, but just need Vandy to cover. I like Alabama. I do. I like Alabama to win this game. I like Alabama to go down to the Plains and get a big win against Auburn here. And so they thought that this is a rivalry game and this is Auburn's chances. I don't see it. I think Bama's got too much to play for, and Bama's more talented. Give me the Crimson Tide to roll Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Iowa, Nebraska. Is there any other play besides under? Like, there is no other play in this game besides under. Iowa's offense is a joke. Nebraska's offense is not good. They got crushed against Penn State. I don't know what to make of it. The number's too big. I'm not laying 6.5 points on a road Iowa team. No, thank you. But I will take the under 38.5. I will bet this game under. I do think we're going to see a slobber knocker of a football game. I think it's going to be ugly, and I don't think Nebraska scores very much. You have a freshman quarterback for the Crimson for the Big Red for Alabama for Nebraska. I think Iowa's defense is too good. I think Nebraska doesn't score, but I'm not betting on the other side because the black shirt defense, I think, will hold Iowa's offense down enough. Under Iowa, Nebraska, under 38.5. And finally, we're going with UNLV and Nevada. Have you guys been watching? You probably haven't, because why would you? But if you're watching UNLV and Nevada, UNLV has turned the corner defensively in the last 3 weeks. They're playing really, really well defensively. And they have a chance to go up there. This is a huge rivalry game. They play for the cannon, as they call it. It's a cannon game. UNLV, I think, is the better team. Their offense is better. I think UNLV goes up there and wins. Look at the alumni. Look at the UNLV guy. Doesn't like it. UNLV choke job last game, though. Fine. That was last year. This is this year. Okay? This is this year. I like the offense. I like the defense. Defense has played really well here. I like UNLV to go up there in Dan Mullen's first game for the Cannon. I think UNLV goes up there and takes care of business against Nevada. Look at the Nevada fans go Pack. Can't see it. Can't see it, Goroff. Sorry. Can't see it. UNLV gets a W. UNLV covers. I want 7, though. Open at 9.5. It's been bet down to 7.5. I think you can wait, get 7. I'd rather UNLV -7 than UNLV -7.5. But at the time of the show right now, we have to go with UNLV, unfortunately, -7.5. I don't love that it's UNLV -7.5, but it is what it is. We're going to do a very quick bonus time on the other side. I got 2 more things I want to get to, including favorite thing about today. But if you are watching live, don't move, stay right there. If you're on the replay on Sports Grid, we're off Thursday and Friday. Thank you for watching. Really cool stuff whenever we're on Sports Grid. I love the show being on there. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody on Sports Grid. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys in the brigade watching all over the globe, all over the country, who watch BBB every night on Sports Grid. Thank you very much. For you guys who are live, bonus time. Okay, couple quick ones before we wrap. News of the industry. Okay, news of the industry, and there's been some interesting developments. So on Monday, when we come back on Monday, on December the 1st, Missouri goes live. It's a big deal for Circa. Circa is going to be is one of the standalone sportsbook platforms that are going to be offered in Missouri, but Underdog has jumped out. And whenever a state launches, whenever we see a new state come online, we're really excited about that, just because it's better for the whole ecosystem when a new state jumps on board. So if you're in the state of Missouri, you're going to get bombarded with offers, and you're going to get bombarded with all sorts of things going on. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here for Missouri on December the 1st. So when we come on back, Missouri goes live, and we start to kind of see what's going to happen over the next couple of things. Mikey, happy Thanksgiving. I'm a turkey as well. Yeah, on this. Chef Benny's asking a question, unrelated question. Is that Dave model hat, this is the Sherapan model. This is the oral cancer Dave Sherapan model hat. This will be given away. This will be a custom. This won't be available in the store, but this will be a custom. There'll be custom giveaways coming. Okay. So, well, let's just do this. Favorite thing about today. We got two things to get into with favorite thing about today before we wrap here for a Thanksgiving. Okay, first, favorite thing about today. This is always fun. My guy, who was part of our operation at Props back in the day, Doug Franz, who is heavily tied to Arizona State. He's in Maui. Doug's in Maui covering Arizona State, and they're going to the championship game of the Maui Invitational. He's there covering it for his show and other a local TV network, TV station in Phoenix. And so I wake up to this. So I think I'll be a saint and buy my wife a drink on Maui to celebrate the Sun Devils in the championship game of the Maui Invitational before I go work on his show, Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by, I don't know who that is, but Whirlwind Golf. And who bombards my wonderful night with his ugly mug but me? So that's Maui. When we're on Sports Grid in Maui, we're a night show. We're a 7 p.m. night show when we're on in Maui. So that was very cool. So favorite thing about today, it's cool to see wherever the show is on across the globe. I mean, that's in Hawaii. That's, a late, even for Vegas, that's 3 hours behind Las Vegas time-wise. So we're on at 10 p.m. Las Vegas time. We're on at 7 p.m. in Maui. So that's always fun when somebody kind of walks around. Yeah, we're a primetime show in Maui. So you want to, popping in and saying hi. So very, 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 very cool on that to see that. So final thing, favorite thing about today. Corbin told me we are very close to launching the first ever BVB store. Now, I will be doing giveaways for people who are subscribed to our YouTube channel. So if you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel, take a look, and we're going to be doing some things. You have to be a subscriber. You're going to have to take a screenshot to me and send in your subscription to the BVB YouTube channel. And we're going to do an email campaign. I'm going to be doing, once the store launches, I'm going to be doing this hat and a couple other hats giveaways for people who are subscribing to our YouTube channel, and then showing you can go and subscribe and buy hats for us for our YouTube channel coming up. Or sorry, for our store coming up here in the next couple of days. So we're going to probably have it be live in the next 3 or 4 days. Okay. Cyber Monday, when we come back on December the 1st, that's Cyber Monday. That's been the goal for the store to be live. It may be live Black Friday, but really on Cyber Monday is when the store is going to be live. Remember, there's going to be 50 of 3 different items in which 100% of the proceeds, 100% of the profits are going to go to the 3 Sherapan daughters. Hat, t-shirt, hoodie. Okay. We're designing 3 Dave Sherapan model, a Dave hat, a Dave shirt, and a Dave sweatshirt. Always forward, never straight will be on the hat, BVB shirt, BVB sweatshirt. Okay. 50 of them, limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. Okay. And the idea is to raise as much money as we can. quickly sell out those 150 items, and then we will know. We don't know the exact time yet, Chef Benny. Okay, it's coming. Corbin's working his tail off. So once he's almost done, but we got some final back end stuff we got to put together for us to be able to do that. So, but we will launch it. We will have it out. Cyber Monday is where we'll get it and go. And then we will have that giveaway. We'll have a giveaway in conjunction with it, but also the Sherapan 50 hats, 50 t-shirts, and 50 sweatshirts for Dave Sherapan, with 100% of the profits going to the Sherapan girls for Christmas. Okay. So we're going to give them cash. Again, this is not a fundraiser. Okay. I'm not raising money for the Sherapans. We're not doing a GoFundMe. This is just straight gift. Okay. So just to be perfectly clear as to what we're doing with the money, I don't want you guys to think that the Sherapan family is in need, or that there's something going on where we raised quite a bit of money for them to take care of expenses, and they're okay financially. Okay. This is a gift. This is just us filling in for Dave, because Dave used to give his girls cash for Christmas. So the idea basically is we're going to give, if we sell out everything, there's 150. If we sell all 150 items, and I'm assuming we're going to do that, but the goal is to give, each of the girls, several $100s to go ahead and hear. So I don't want to give away the exact breakout, because we got to figure out the exact costs of everything still. We're still working out the X's and O's as to how much money each item is going to bring. But that profit margin that we're going to make, after buying the hats, designing the hats, paying the payment processor people, all the things that are going in there, whatever money's left over from a profit standpoint, 150 times, whatever that number is, say it's $10, it'd be 150 times. That money directly is going to the Sherapan girls. Okay. After we do that, we're going to take down the Sherapan stuff. Okay. So it's going to be a limited edition. We'll bring it back once in a while. Okay. We'll bring back the Sherapan stuff once in a while, but I don't think it's right for anyone to be making money off Dave's name. Okay. Dave's sayings are Dave's. The logo is half mine, now all mine, because unfortunately what happened. But I want everyone to kind of understand what we're doing with the store. I'm not going to have Dave Sherapan stuff on the store, because I think it's inappropriate to go and say, nobody knows shit. That's Dave. We'll bring that back for another time. We'll do different limited edition runs going on for Dave stuff. And whenever I do that, it's going to go to his daughters and to Jessica. Like, that's his stuff. It's not appropriate for me to make money on that. So I'm not going to do that. The BVB stuff in the store and the t-shirts and the stuff we'll do with the store going forward. But I want to do, when we launch it, I want to do that, raise money for his daughters for Christmas, and then we'll take it down. And so it's a limited edition of 150, 50 hats, 50 t-shirts, 50 sweatshirts, always forward, never straight, for Dave Sherapan. And that money will go directly to the Sherapan daughters. Happy Thanksgiving. Please be safe. If you're going out tonight, you kids, you young guys, listen to me. Don't be stupid tonight. Okay. My 30th year anniversary for high school reunion is Saturday. I can't go to it because I'm flying back to Vegas. But I lost, I think the number is 5. It might be 6. But I lost so many kids before I graduated. Okay. To a variety of things, to drunk driving, to suicide, to heart attacks. Like I lost a lot of kids. And it's the worst on a Wednesday when you go back to your hometown and you see a bunch of people and you pound beers. Call an Uber, call a Lyft. Don't be stupid, okay? I want to see you guys all back here and be able to be part of the brigade. Please don't do anything stupid tonight, because there really is. I mean, New Year's Eve is amateur hour, but then right here on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, that's number 2 for amateur hour in terms of craziness, okay? A lot of nostalgia. Yeah, tonight is the Super Bowl of drinking. New Year's Eve is too, but tonight is too. Young Man's Eve is a young man's game. I will give you that. And what is a young man? You're in it, Recone. 31 and under. Yeah, you're still part of it. Okay. You're still willing to throw down and do something stupid. Okay. Be smart tonight, guys. Okay. Be very smart tonight. It's a dangerous night on the road waves. I'm getting in the car and I'm heading to Maine. So I'm going to be on the road, but I'm taking the kids, and Amanda and I are going up to Booth Bay Harbor in Maine. You know what that is. It's cold, but it's cool. Thank you for being here, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Back on Monday, off Thursday, Friday, back Monday for a Cyber Monday, BVB store launch day of the Bostonian versus the Book.